Hey guys, how's it going? It's X666X Iron Maiden. Today we're finally doing one that's been requested a bunch of times and even still up to recently. We're doing History Bombs, History of the Cold War in one take. Alright, so this one's a pretty long one. It's 7.5 minutes. I think it's longer than the other one, so let's jump in and learn, hopefully learn a little bit more about the Cold War. I do know a decent amount of information on this, but I'm hoping to learn something new, so let's check.
This video is part of History Bombs Classroom, award-winning online resources for history teachers. Sign up today at historybombs.com. Now, enjoy the film.
Sir, that's the 5th one today. The same identical message. 2 history bombs do the Cold War in one take? But what does it mean?
History bombs, huh? It's gotta be the Russians, that spy network. Maybe something to do with the Manhattan Project. I gotta take this to the president.
Hey guys, I've got this.
Who's that guy?
Pass me the mic, I'm coming through. So you thought there would be peace after World War II? How could you be so naive to believe that we've seen the worst of the 20th century? On one side, the communist USSR, the capitalist USA. Hoorah! The tension's about to blow sky high at the Potsdam Conference 1945.
We did it, Stalin. Chalked up a win, and we've each got a nice little piece of Berlin.
My victory, Truman. Your troops arrived late, but at least I've seized the Baltic states.
So you're gonna pull back? Time to take stock?
What? Are you jealous of my Eastern Bloc? So you want Russian help to defeat Japan?
Well, actually, I've got an explosive plan.
The Potsdam Agreement split Germany and Austria into 4 occupied zones as an Iron Curtain fell across Europe. This was the only time Truman and Stalin met face to face. Just 1 week after the conference, Truman unleashed America's top secret nuclear weapons on Japan without informing Stalin, fueling mistrust between the former allies.
This is George Kennan, reporting from Moscow, ma'am. Eyes only for Truman, a long telegram. It must be America's firm intention to contain Soviet global aggression.
This is Novikov reporting from United States. Tell Stalin we must spend whatever it takes. The US are clearly laying foundations for total global domination.
Kennan's long telegram influenced the Truman Doctrine and Marshall Plan, which provided aid to countries threatened by Soviet communism.
See, this stuff I didn't learn.
The US sent aid to Turkey and Greece, but when they tried to introduce the Deutschmark in Germany, Stalin blockaded supplies to West Berlin. Cue the Berlin airlift.
Look up, Stalin. You can block the roads, but the Brits are flying in with peaceful payloads.
Good on you, mate. How about some credit for the US, Aussie, Kiwi and Canadian
We've been
effort?
dropping 9,000 tons of supplies a day. Mostly coal and potatoes, hardly gourmet. Now find me a runway. I need to hit the ground.
You can head home, mate. Stalin's just back down.
What?
The Allies flew in vital supplies to West Berlin until Stalin backed down in May 1949. In the same year, the Western Allies formed NATO to counterweight Russia. But that winter, the balance of power was about to shift dramatically east.
Comrade, welcome to the Soviet Union, and kudos on your communist revolution.
And so a new era for China begins. I need good news to take back to Beijing.
An alliance together, if I may say so, would surely put it right at NATO.
Let's renew the Sino-Soviet alliance.
Agreed. Now, you like rocket science?
Stalin and Mao renewed the Sino-Soviet alliance, presenting a seismic shift in geopolitics. What's more, the USSR secretly tested their first nuclear weapon. Both superpowers began spreading their influence abroad, backing a complex web of competing governments and rebel groups until tensions crystallized on the Korean peninsula.
Okay, boys, it's good to see you. The commies are backing North Korea, so we'll be supporting our troops on the ground.
Getting up close to the speed of sound.
All right, now remember, it's a UN mission. We're part of a Western coalition protecting the South. You got that, Briggs?
Yes, sir. Time to bag me a MiG.
The Korean War hit a stalemate until an armistice began in 1953. North and South Korea were split along the 38th parallel, a line that still divides the country today. Over the next decade, tensions escalated further and the conflict became truly global. Are you paying attention? Let's go. Stalin died and Truman lost power. In come Khrushchev and Eisenhower. The Warsaw Pact binds the Eastern Bloc, but the Russian and Chinese bond is rocked. In 56, the Hungarian uprising is smashed by the Russians. The world's realizing that these superpowers crush those who oppose. As the CIA ruthlessly hunts in the shadows, the space race makes for a dazzling sideshow. As Khrushchev cranks up the pressure from Moscow in the Berlin crisis, you probably guessed they put up a wall to split East and West. And just before you begin to relax, an island off Florida has just unpacked a lethal arsenal of Soviet nukes. The world holds its breath, and I'm gonna puke.
My fellow Americans, there's a Soviet move out to put a boatload of nukes on the island of Cuba. It would appear that Moscow has fed us lies, and I will not stand idly by. Now I know what you're thinking, last year wasn't great. The Bay of Pigs was a big mistake, but after careful thought, the decisions be made. We'll stop Moscow ships with a naval blockade.
For 13 days, the world
This I've read about, especially Bay of
Moscow
Pigs.
communicated via unreliable back channels. Despite some close calls, Khrushchev agreed to remove the weapons if Kennedy removed his own missiles from Turkey. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, an ill-advised proxy war was growing out of control.
Well, good morning, Vietnam. Lit by furious 5 napalm, scarred by a million brutal shells. A jungle paradise, turn to hell. And is this battle really ours? Where's the just within this cause? America, elephant scared by a mouse drawing lines in the sand when the tide is out.
For 2 decades, the US fought a futile war against communist-backed North Vietnam until the US withdrawal. In 1972, President Nixon traveled to Beijing and Moscow, holding talks to limit the arms race during a period known as détente. However, in 1979, Cold War tensions would ratchet up once more.
Sir, we just got word from Afghanistan, a communist coup.
Sounds like a Soviet plan.
Yes, sir. The Russians are sending advisors. Clearly, they're trying to undermine us.
So let's support the other side.
The Islamist fighters.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Encourage them to fight a holy war with the Soviet Union.
Well, if you're sure.
The Soviet Union sent thousands of troops to support the Communist Party in Afghanistan, but they failed to defeat local Mujahideen fighters backed by the USA. In 1987, Gorbachev and Reagan signed a treaty to limit nuclear weapons as the Soviet economy began to fail. And in 1989, the eyes of the world turned to Berlin.
We're sick of silence. We will not rest. Berlin has won, not East and West. If there's one thing of which I'm certain, it's time to end this iron curtain.
We must destroy this brutal vision, this ugly symbol of division. East and West, join the call. Hey Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
In 89, the wall
There you
came
go.
down, and Eastern Europe stood its ground with a sweeping wave of revolutions against their Soviet institutions. Finally, after 50 years of proxy wars and nuclear fears, the world began to heal the scars of countless battles near and far. And present day, fast forward the clock, we're still living with the aftershock. This global war for domination affected almost every nation. So don't
Yeah.
assume this war was cold, that it didn't take a human toll. For the millions who died for their nation states, let us learn from their fate.
Click here to subscribe. Click here for a behind-the-scenes video. Click here for award-winning online history resources. History Bombs out.
They killed it on this one. Compared to the other ones, there's so much more production that went into it and all that. 7.5 minutes makes sense. Obviously, the Cold War covered such a broad area of history, so many years of history. I should have known that was why it was longer. But I thought they were going to make it even more condensed like they did with the other one, so I'm glad they took the time to go a little bit further out. This came out in September of last year. This would have been around getting close, either before or after the time where South Korea and North Korea were going through the trying to not fight anymore, right? So it's kind of cool to see like that was also coming possibly to an end. It seems so far it has. I haven't read anything else about it again. This did cover a lot of information that I didn't know, because you only go in. Again, as I always say, depending on where you live, it seems like the schools only cover so much history, and it's always your side of the story too, right? That's why I've always enjoyed doing these videos on the channel, because you get to learn a more broad aspect to it. even the start of the Cold War, I never got that much in detail of how it started. I've covered some in school and during my time in the armed forces, but it didn't go that much into detail. And then there's little details scattered throughout the video that I also didn't know, but I thought they covered it pretty well. Like, they covered all the major points, and then some nice other little tidbits that adds up to those major points. So again, History Bombs just always nailing these videos, and I thought this was their best one out of the what is it? This is the third one I've seen from them, or the fourth? Can't remember. I think it's the third. I think we only did the World War I and World War II so far, right? So, but I feel like this one was the better one, and I loved how it had like a synthwave track throughout it too. It kind of like it kind of kept me like pumped up a little bit to be learning history. I don't know if that's what it did for you guys, but it did it for me. So now I guess we should start doing even closer in our history to some other stuff too, like the Afghan and Iraqi War. Maybe they'll do that. It's hard to say. Yeah, hopefully you guys finally enjoyed checking this one out with me. I mean, this one, like I said, was the best one so far, so I'm glad I finally got to it. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more from me. And also, as always, you guys have a good one. I'll catch you later.